And what is up, YouTube? My name is G3 Iron, and today we just got the development plan, the essentially the schedule for what things are going to come out when for 2019 for Path of Exile. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into the schedule and see exactly what the plan is so far for 2019. So, with most of the team back and rested from their various holidays over the New Zealand summer, we wanted to give you an update on what the plan is for Path of Exile's development for this year. 2019 will see the release of 4 significant Path of Exile updates in the form of 3.6.0 in March, 3.7 in June, 3.8 in September, and 3.9 in December. These releases will follow the formula we have been using over the last few years, introducing a challenge league, various expansion features, new character skills, archetypes to play, and masses of other fixes and quality of life improvements. While working on the 2019 updates, we also hope to make significant progress on the 4.0 Mega expansion, likely coming sometime in 2020. For those unfamiliar with our version numbering system, once we have released update 3.9.0, we aren't forced to number the next one 4.0. For example, the version of 3.90 March 2020 is 3.10. As we do not expect the release of 4.0 in the first part of next year. Okay, interesting. Development of 4.0 is a massive task and is absolutely affected by our desire to continue to release sizable leagues at our usual pace. So we are taking our time and making sure it's ready before we decide on a release date. 2019 culminates in the Exilecon fan convention in November, where we can announce and demonstrate December's 3.90 expansion, as well as a small preview of 4.0. This convention takes place approximately 2 to 3 weeks before the 3.9 release, so you should be able to play a near final build at the show. We expect to put tickets up for sale in the next couple of weeks. We are also putting the finishing touches on the PlayStation 4 version of Path of Exile and should be able to announce a release date in the near future. It's certainly going to be a busy year. Expect to hear more news about 2019's first expansion version 3.6 in around a month. Okay, so leave us a comment down below with your thoughts. My initial thoughts upon just reading that, I guess I've got a couple. The first is it's never been hard announced, so there's no like, hey, backtracking here, rawr, grab your pitchforks and torches. It's never was hard announced that 4.0 was coming out in 2019, but it was teased that at the end of 2019 4.0 would be coming out. So maybe that was us as fans and as players of Path of Exile misunderstanding what that tease meant, that there would be a tease of 4.0 that would be coming out at the end of 2019. So for those of us really getting excited and stoked and looking forward to the next Mega expansion, which those of you that are new to Path of Exile, maybe you're unfamiliar with what happens when there are these massive rollovers. Essentially, there are massive end game and current story mode changes that happen whenever there's a big expansion like this. One of the big changes that's most recent, of course, was changing the gameplay cycle from playing four different acts over 3 different difficulties, essentially recycling the same 4 acts where you just played through Act 1 through 4 and beat it. Then the game got more difficult. You lost a bunch of resistances, and then you went back, played it again, and then went back and played it again, and then you made it to maps. Now, of course, with the most recent expansion in 3.0, we have the single 10-act storyline that we play through. So that's what a Mega expansion can look like. It is huge for those of us that were waiting for that Mega expansion. It was incredibly well anticipated in terms of the excitement that players had building up to it. And while we were all excited, none of us anticipated, I don't think any of us anticipated that GGG was going to release 6 new acts and just do away with every difficulty setting. Most of us that were previewing or forecasting what could happen was maybe they would remove 1 difficulty and give us like an additional act. And so GGG has a track record of blowing us all away and absolutely exceeding our expectations. So that being said, again, I don't want to say, hey, raise your torches and pitchforks, but this this does seem like they have pushed something back, or maybe there was a misunderstanding or a miscommunication about when 4.0 was supposed to come out. So it's exciting to see that there are going to be 4 updates in 2019. It's also exciting for myself. I'm just being selfish here. Maybe you're like me. Those of us that have got work schedules, school schedules, just schedules and life schedules, it's helpful to know that these are going to be the release times. So March is going to be a release, June is going to be a release, September is going to be a release, and December is going to be a release. It's helpful to know that, so that way we can plan around when we want to spend some extra time playing the game as opposed to doing other stuff in our lives. So that is really helpful, and I appreciate that we actually have those, not specific dates, but at least months of the year. Another thing that's kind of head-scratching is Exilecon is going to happen in November, and they say it's probably 2 to 3 weeks before the December release. Most December releases that POE has released have been like in the first week or 2 of December. So if this is 2 to 3 weeks before the December release, I don't know. If you're doing the calendar stats in your head, if you're a US fan, this could overlap. It could overlap with Thanksgiving. I don't know. I haven't sorted through and seen any other announcements from Bex yet. We don't necessarily have a date yet, but at least for us US fans, again, that's not necessarily going to affect any other fans throughout the rest of the world. I know we've got a lot of viewers in other parts of the world other than the United States. That's just selfish, just speaking from my own background. I would love to go to Exilecon. I've done the numbers on it. It would cost me about $4,500. And if I want to take any one of my family members, it's going to go up to $5K for me to go to Exilecon, just in between taking time off of work. And I've got 3 kids and a wife. So that being said, I would still love to go. But if it's over Thanksgiving, then that pretty much kills it. So hopefully it won't be over U.S. Thanksgiving, which is already just a nightmare time to travel for Americans. Again, totally being selfish here. But yes, Bex is absolutely right. And I'm excited for this at the very end, where, yes, it's going to be a busy year, and we're excited to hear more news about 2019's first league expansion, 3.6. So we're going to start having hints drop for that in about a month, which is pretty exciting with how many players are still playing Betrayal, that it is still a live and active league. Players are still completing their atlases, playing new builds, trying out different things. So this is pretty exciting all the way around to see this level of planning. And again, as always, this level of communication. But I am a little taken aback. 4.0 is coming in 2020. Okay, at least a part of me goes, I wonder if that's because they know D4 isn't coming out in 2019 like they originally thought. Like we all originally thought. Before BlizzCon of last year, at least. Anyway. Interesting stuff. So leave us a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on the development plan for 2019. Is this something that you're stoked about still, or are you a little disappointed? I can't say that I'm disappointed and outraged and I'm going to stop playing POE until 4.0. I love the game, and I love pretty much every expansion that's come out over the last 2 years. So I'm stoked for it, and I'm stoked to see what 2019 brings us.